committees and they become so difficult, so that then the running of the committee and the running of the fund becomes so very difficult. Mr. Speaker, I wish to support the efficiency measures that have been introduced in this act and in this bill, and I wish to support and to say that maybe I'm not trying to preempt or to be anticipatory in terms of the bill maybe that is in this house on the issue of increasing the fund to about 5%, so that then we can increase the number of projects that we're doing in our constituencies that have really been the game changer in our respective constituencies. Mr. Speaker, I support the amendment.
Member for Ruiru.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi ya kuweza kuchangia changio hili muhimu sana, hasa wakati tunaongea juu ya maendeleo katika maeneo bunge yote 290.
Hoja ya nidhamu. Yes, you press an intervention.
No.
Yes, you know, when you press an intervention, it shows. Proceed.
Asante Bwana Spika, na naomba unichunge ndio niweze kuwa na utaratibu wa kunena mawili matatu yale yataleta maendeleo kule mashinani. Bwana Spika, nilikuwa nagusia kusema ukienda katika maeneo yote bunge 290 hutakosa maendeleo hasa ya kiusalama, masomo, na vile kidogo sana mabarabara yale yanaenda kwa mashule yakiwa yamejengwa na kutekelezwa vilivyo na utaratibu uliokomaa kutokana na mgao ule unapatikana tukitumia lile jina Cdf, ambalo ni mgao unapatiwa eneo bunge na kupitia kamati iliyotengwa katika eneo bunge lile. Bwana Spika, ni vizuri nichangie niseme kusema kweli, wakati fedha imeguzwa ni vizuri kuwa na utaratibu mwafaka, na utaratibu mwafaka utaweza kupatikana wakati mianya ile inaweza tumika na walaghai imezimbwa na watu kuhusishwa, hasa watu wenye kutoka eneo lile. Na nimeshukuru sana kuona katika kamati ile lazima mwenye kikao kile ametoka katika eneo bunge lile. Vile kuna nafasi nyingine nzuri ambapo lazima kuwe na mtu kutoka serikalini ambaye atakuwa ni jicho la wizara ya fedha, ambao wataona zile pesa wametoka katika wizara ile ya fedha imefika mashinani na imetekeleza majukumu yale ambayo yamepeanwa. Lakini ni jambo lile sikupata hapa Bwana Spika, na ningependa liwekewe uzito, ni wakati wa mgao ule uwe na usawa, kwa sababu ukiangalia kama bunge langu la Ruiru tuko watu
you know what we are discussing. You have read the bill.
Nimesoma ndio nikasema ile nimekosa.
No, but you don't. Then you are contributing to non-existent debate.
Asante
because
sana.
This one is just talking about that opening of that account.
Asante.
So if you want to complain about other things, that is not when you are contributing to this bill, because
asante.
You know, the contribution must have relevance to the business.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunirudisha kwa laini.
Yes.
Na asante, ni jukumu lako kutuweka kwa laini ndio tuwe na utaratibu wa kuchangia. Na niseme kusema kweli, kusipokuwa na utaratibu kama vile umenikosoa, hata ile pesa haiwezi kupatikana. Kwa hivyo utaratibu ule umetengwa na kuhusisha watu mbalimbali katika eneo na vile serikali kuu. Bwana Spika, tukipitia mlengo huo ni kama tutaweza kutumia zile fedha kihalali na kisheria. Na nafikiria wale walitoka na jukumu hilo walikuwa wameona bari kwa sababu tusipoweka watu walio na ujuzi kutoka pande zote mbili, wale wa umma na vile vile serikali yenyewe, Bwana Spika, hatuwezi kalenga malengo yale yametengwa kutekeleza pesa zile. Kwa hivyo mimi nimesimama hapa kuchangia na kusema ni vizuri kuendelea kuunda miundo mipya ile itafanya zile pesa ziweze kutekelezwa vilivyo. Asante, na nimechangia na kuunga. Asante Bwana Spika.
Member for Nyando.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much. I would want to support this bill on a third-party account by NGCDF. Honorable Speaker, in the advent of NGCDF, which was then just CDF, there were no specific roles to the funds. And in retrospect, therefore, members of parliament ended up doing so many things using that same money, which part of which has now been taken over by national government through the executive and the devolution through the county government. Honorable Speaker, I am a member of the Special Funds Accounts Committee, and we re-evaluate the usage of CDF monies or NGCDF. And in the course of our interaction with the fund managers and various committees, we realized that some constituencies in the past bought tractors or graders to work on their roads, part of which functions have since been taken over by the county governments. So they have these machines with them, and some people hire them from these constituencies. They receive monies which they cannot bank in this major or primary account, which is funded by the NGCDF board. So this third-party account will really help them, at least for once, have somewhere to channel these monies, Honorable Speaker. Some of them bought tractors to help plow land for agricultural use by the constituents, and they receive monies, Honorable Speaker. They have absolutely nowhere to bank these monies. And in the absence of banking, Honorable Speaker, the monies are just misused by those who receive them, even certain times without the knowledge of the committee. So this is an eye-opener, and this is going to go a long way to helping constituencies now manage extra monies that will be gotten from other activities. Of course, during that period, and I think part of now also, we have certain constituencies who've dug boreholes in certain schools or to communities, and they receive these monies, 3 shillings, 5 shillings on a liter, on a 20-liter jerrycan. They have nowhere to bank these monies, Honorable Speaker. And even when you have to set up an M-Pesa account, for instance, you must have a bank account, so that that money is channeled to a pay bill that takes you to a specific bank account, Honorable Speaker. So this is very important. But allow me also to add, Honorable Speaker, having underscored the role of this new bank that is yet to be established, that Kenyans are still grappling with the roles of various institutions. Kenyans have not distinguished the role of the national government, the role of the county government, and even up to now, 12 years down the line in our new constitutional order, they still ask us why there is no medicine in their health facilities. Or they're asking, why don't we have water? Or why are our roads so dilapidated? So up to now, they do not know what the role of a member of parliament is. And Honorable Speaker, in 2013, when people were going into elections, people thought that the Senate was the center of power. And even those who had read and midwifed the new constitution then also had the same notion that the Senate was it. And later, 5 years down the line, with the devolution, now all those are trooping back to the county, having realized that really the Senate doesn't have much, but it is the governor, His Excellency, that has power. So, Honorable Speaker, even as we try to reorient these funds, it may also be incumbent upon all of us to enlighten the electorate on the roles of a member of parliament, the roles of a governor, and what the executive through the national government can do. And therefore, I support this, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Kiambu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I rise indeed to support the amendment and the bill that the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act 2015 be amended to provide for the opening and the operating of the constituency accounts in order to facilitate third-party transactions. Mr. Speaker, in as much as I am not a member of parliament in terms of controlling this kind of fund, I surely support this kind of amendment. Reason being, when the suppliers of NGCDF have not been paid, the contractors have not been paid, who are also our voters, the pressure also comes to us as leaders. Any inefficiency in NCGDF also affects any other leader, whether governor, whether women rep, whether senator, because the people do not differentiate the roles played by different leaders. And therefore, every time they see any leader, they throw their problems to us. And therefore, if the amendment of NCGDF to provide for an account to provide efficiency in the operations of the National Government Constituency Development Fund is something that is going to bring solutions to the many problems we've been having with contractors and suppliers. Therefore, as a leader representing the great county of Kiambu, I do support this kind of amendment. Mr. Speaker, it is good for me to note and to alert the House that National Development Constituency Fund is a sister fund to the fund that is controlled or is managed or patronized by women representatives. And if there is anything that National Government Constituency Development Fund has not been able to do efficiently and effectively, it also affects the deliverables of the other funds, the sister funds that are available. It is also a challenge for us who have been patronizing the National Government Affirmative Action Fund to learn from the proposals that have been brought into this House to provide efficiency to the management of national funds so that we can pick a lesson from this and see what we can pick from these proposals and put them into other sister funds like the National Government Affirmative Action Fund so that we can provide efficiency to the people that expect us to deliver efficiency to them. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I humbly do support this amendment and congratulate the committee and the proposer of the amendment for this wonderful proposal that is going to also inform us on other applications of other national government funds. Thank you.
Member for Saku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this amendment to the Cdf Act. Honorable Speaker, the Cdf is the most important fund today in this country that has done wonders. It has done better than billions that are given to our counties that receive in tune of 8 billion, 10 billion, up to 15 billion, that is Nairobi. But the 100 million that we receive in our in our constituencies actually has done wonders. What is the reason? I think the first reason is management of these funds, where the members of parliament actually are just the patrons, as opposed to being the executioners of how those funds are applied. Secondly, is the committees that are elected from across the constituency. Thirdly, there's ownership about the CDF fund, where the constituents know that as soon as that money arrives in Saku constituency, it is their money, and they really want to protect it. Honorable Speaker, through this amendment, I see a good progression, particularly in terms of opening accounts and also retaining funds that are not used with time, as opposed to returning it to the exchequer, so that you demand it year by year. Honorable Speaker, there are a few concerns. The first concern is the attempt by this amendment should not introduce any bureaucracy more than is necessary in the management of CDF fund. Honorable Speaker, today there are many contractors in the counties, but many contractors would like to work with the CDF because that money is readily available, and once a project has been completed, it has been inspected, then their money will be paid. As opposed to the billions in the counties, that takes almost years for those contractors to be paid. Therefore, my proposal, whereas we can see that within 45 days, once funds have been allocated to the project, the CDF board is informed. Yes, that is okay, insofar as coordination and management of funds is concerned, but it should not introduce any new bureaucracies. The other progressive thing which I see in this amendment is the introduction from the CDF board that a particular constituency have been given out their money. That is, at disbursement, a single check is signed where they confirm that that money has been received by constituency X or Y. The other issue, which I think is also progressive, is the constituency committee. Identifying the role of the constituency committee, where in the normal sense, they are just ordinary citizens, but they are given powers by the CDF board that they have accountability context in terms of management of the CDF fund is very important. The other issue which, Honorable Speaker, I note in this particular amendment is what spells out the duties or the role of the board. And I think here it's really important because the first one is consider and approve or reject proposals submitted by constituencies. The more we see how the CDF fund is applied, I think sometimes there are inconsistencies because they approve constituency X to buy buses, vans, ambulances, and they will not allow constituency Y to do the same. I think in terms of how the funds are used, there need to have some uniformity so that once the project proposals are submitted, this is done through public participation. I think the board cannot arrogate itself all the functions of a public participation to actually reject matters that constituents find critical to be included in their project. Finally, Madam Speaker, this amendment is necessary and is important, and it is coming at the tail end of the life of the 12th Parliament. The CDF funds, I think at 2.5%, has done so much. What would we see if these funds are increased to 5 or even 10%, because they address the matters of national concern. It addresses education. It addresses matters of security. What are the bigger purposes that money for a country can be used for? For that matter, I think we should be bold as a budget-making parliament to actually say that let us increase the allocation of CDF in the national budget. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well spoken, the member for Saku, the Honorable Raswali. And now the floor goes to the member for Mogosho, the Honorable Tuito Kamore.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support this particular amendment. The role of NGCDF in the country's development has been great. We all know that since the introduction of this particular program by the government and also the management by the members of parliament, I think we have seen a lot of great improvement, especially in the education sector. In my constituency, Mogotio, like the last 4 years, we've been able to construct over 150 classrooms. So the way this particular fund has been managed in the ground has really made great contribution. It's been one of the great changes. I would say it's been the greatest thing since the sliced bread, because I remember before the introduction of this CDF fund, many institutions could not even construct a classroom. People used to wait for a long time before you get any help from the ministries. But since this particular fund was introduced, a lot of improvement has been done. So the current amendment, which is geared at bringing in new accounts to attract other donors to chip into the fund, is really welcome. I think this will actually go a great way in enhancing or in improving the amount of money available to do more work in the constituencies. I know this particular fund is managed essentially by the PMCs or the project management committees at the school level or at the chiefs level, and this has allowed for ownership from various institutions, from the primary schools, from the secondary schools, from the chiefs. So by having PMCs, that's been very good. Also, the fact that the national board has also been closely monitoring the way these funds has been utilized has minimized the loss of these funds. So the idea to increase the amount of money available through this amendment is highly welcome. And if this particular fund could be even more enhanced, we know right now it's 2.5% of the budget. Means we should have the projected budget. Means we should actually be able to increase to around 5%. It will going to make great development. It could be the same way we are thinking about increasing 35% of the amount to go to counties. We could also think of increasing the amount which can go towards NGCDF, because it makes a lot of contribution towards the development of the infrastructure, the education infrastructure in the ground. It has also made a great contribution towards keeping students in school. Madam Speaker, I know very many families depend on this particular fund, especially for bursaries. In my constituency, about 7,000 students they benefit yearly from this fund through bursaries. So if this particular fund could be actually enhanced, if other donors can come in and second this particular or give more contributions, we could actually improve the available of monies to the students in schools. It has actually kept many students in school. Right now in my constituency, many parents, like this particular year, after coming through the period of COVID, right now we are also experiencing a serious drought at the constituency. Lack of water is becoming serious, so hopefully there will be rains very soon. Also, there was a bit of poor crop failure. So to keep the schools, to keep the students and in school will mean that the NGCDF funds should be available in school when we open in May. Therefore, this particular fund is very, very, very crucial to many parents because it enables the students to remain in school and even to reduce the many times we do a rampage for education purposes in the schools, in the constituency. Therefore, Madam Speaker, any amendment which can improve the more availability of funds will go a long way to support this particular project. Therefore, I stand to say I support.
Very well. Let me have the next member to speak on this, who is the member for Mwingi North, the Honorable Nzengu Musimi. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to support this proposed amendment to the Cdf Act. And in supporting, I want to appreciate that indeed CDF is doing a commendable job back in our constituencies compared to other government monies that come to our constituencies or to our counties through maybe the county government. If you look at the performance of most constituencies, you realize that monies that come through CDF is the money that usually is helping most of the poor students from our constituencies, considering that a specific amount of money is usually allocated for bursaries. As a matter of fact, the re-election of most of us who are first-term members of parliament will depend largely on the performance when it comes to bursary. So I want to support the proposal to increase the amount allocated for CDF to 5%. And also appreciate the fact that CDF funds is easily reachable or reaching people because most of the procurement is done at the constituency level, and young contractors who are new in the profession usually get an opportunity. So I think it plays a big role in empowering women and youth. So, Madam Speaker, I support.
You support very well. Honourable members, having no another member interested to speak to this, I'm aware the Honourable Member for Butula has spoken to this. The member for Funyula, you want to speak to this or the other? Oh, very well. Then let's have the member for Funyula, the only one, the Honorable Ondo Jambo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was getting worried how come my name had disappeared. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the National Government Constitutional Development Fund Amendment Bill number 4 of 2021. And Honorable Speaker, I just put it on record. The bill seeks to tie up some loose ends that have existed in the bill, in the Act, since its operation many years back. And essentially, it's just like, for example, you put on a dress, you change your body shape over time, so you have to keep on taking to the tailor to fit so that you do not look out of place. Honorable Speaker, over time, the CDF has done tremendous amount of work on the ground. Likewise, in the colliery, there have been cases where there have been operational challenges, and I trust and believe the amendments contained in this bill will address those challenges. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the various clauses in this bill, essentially, Honorable Speaker, when NGCDF committee at the constituency level receives money, it comes either in lump sum or bits to the accounts of the committee. And ordinarily, when you look at the allocation, we have money for administration, we have funds for monitoring and evaluation, we have funds for projects. If it goes to one account, there are always challenges in operational. And I think it's the committee's wisdom, therefore, to propose in this bill the opening of operations account, where I do believe funds meant for administration, funds meant for monitoring and evaluation will be directed to that account. So that essentially ensures, Honorable Speaker, salaries are paid on time, statutory deductions are made on time. It ensures that things like sitting allowance for the committee members is paid on time. It allows basic things to be paid on time. The second innovative provisions in this account, Honorable Speaker, is what we are calling the deposit bank account, whereby funds that are supposed to be expended at a later date, for example, gratuity, are paid on this account. And I say so, Honorable Speaker, when I took over the Funyula constituency, the new committee was taken to court by employees of the former committee and the members of the former committee, who argued that gratuity had not been paid for. When we sought advice from the board here, we were told by then there was no specific provisions to set aside money for gratuity. So consequently, it made it difficult for us to use our current funds to pay all the debts former employees. The provision that has been put here, Honorable Speaker, this essentially addresses this issue. And many times what we have been doing in the recent past, that at the end of each financial year, we pay gratuity to these members of staff, and it robs them that lump sum payment they ought to get at the end of their term. Therefore, this is a very good provision to allow the amount to be put in a running account for them to be paid at the end of their term, say for 5 years, so that they get some lump sum amount. If they are not they are reappointed, they are in a position to start their lives well off again. Honorable Speaker, in the deposit bank account, have also been informed and educated that we could use that bank account to deposit money that we collect, that the CDF committee collects in terms of charging for the tender documents, to buy the tender documents. You have some running projects that probably brings in some revenue. Instead of that revenue disappearing in some places, we can deposit in that amount. Many constituencies have got probably buses, have got CDF vans, which they tend occasionally to hire for some private functions. Since they have nowhere to deposit that amount, there's a possibility that amount ends up in the hands of drivers or somebody else, which is not accounted for. Actually, it gives now room for actually the constituents to start having what we call appropriation in aid, that become part of their income and put it in somewhere else. Honorable Speaker, again, under clauses, the rest of clause 5 basically deals with the issues of signing mandate and authentication of instrument, providing for the fund account manager, providing for the district accountant, and providing for one of the fund committee members. It ensures that there is accountability and everybody is able to check each other in the event of any problem. Honorable Speaker, again, clause 7 talks about the issue of how we manage the projects, and that's okay. However, Honorable Speaker, I have a challenge, and I would wish the committee to listen to me carefully, and we'd make arrangements to make changes at the committee of the whole House on 2 accounts, Honorable Speaker. The first one in clause 9, subsection 1 reads, each constituency shall within 3 months of the official release of the budget ceilings for the constituencies or such other time as may be determined by the board, submit a list of the proposed constituency projects to the board. Honorable Speaker, there are operational challenges here. Many times the ceiling comes much late in the year. We pass the budget probably in July. By the time the ceiling comes officially from the board, we are talking about October. If you give us another 3 months, therefore it means the earliest that the proposals can be submitted, that's December. We have lost half a year, and therefore there's no value for money to the constituents for that particular financial year. I would suggest that since there's prior public participation that already have been done under an existing law, we make an arrangement that we reduce it to 1 month so that we don't lose more period of irate. Honorable Speaker, under Clause 10, we seek to make amendments to Section 32 that requires, that now empowers the constituency committee to determine quantum of installment for disbursement for projects within the constituency, taking into account the disbursement received and the project requirements. Honorable Speaker, again, there is operational challenges here, and there could be a lot of mischief. Honorable Speaker, we are going to have stalled projects. It is possible at any given time, the board might not disburse the entire amount in full. So if we allow piecemeal disbursement of funds to the projects, it means that they will have so many stalled projects in the constituency. It will be the essence of CDF, where projects are implemented expeditiously and to completion. I would want the committee to have a relook at it and generally delete this particular amendment because it's going to cause so many problems. Honorable Speaker, we are going for changeover. There will be new MPs. There will be those who will retain their seats. Honorable Speaker, with this arrangement, it means future committees will start ongoing projects of funding on the argument that they are allowed to do quantum release. Honorable Speaker, under Clause 12, dealing with the amendments Clause 36, yes, indeed, Honorable Speaker, this is one of the best amendments that have come up with. Many of district quantity surveyors or sub-county architects are extremely busy, committed to so many projects at any given time. They do not give CDF projects the attention they deserve. Many times you would call for them to come and supervise and certify works. They take months and months to come. You ask them to generate BQs. They are so rigid in their approach that they are unable to take cognizance of local circumstances. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, opening up to allow private practitioners to prepare documents and undertake the relevant process is a welcome approach, even though there are no private practitioners registered by the government or professional registered by respective professional organizations that are anchored in the law. Final, Honorable Speaker, Clause 15 allowing for the increase of money for bursary and the related beyond 35%, it might look good, but Honorable Speaker, it stands to be abused. I would also request the committee to relook at it, retain the current ceiling, and probably allow payment of education day from monetary or from the operational account. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. With those few remarks, I second. Or I support.
Yes, you're not second very well. You're supporting, quite in order in supporting the bill. I remember I indicated that we only had one member, but on my request list, and I'm aware the member for Gatanga was in the consulting room. So the member for Gatanga, and then we have the mover to reply. The Honorable Gungi Duarte.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me a chance also to make my contribution. Honorable Speaker, I want to say I also support the amendment. At least now we'll be able to undertake many projects in the constituency. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say CDF has really supported us, especially members of parliament, because we have said it in the past that the only visible projects in the constituency is what we do with our CDF. However, Madam Speaker, currently, because CDF board has not disbursed all the funds, we are facing a very huge challenge. Very huge. According to reports which we have received recently, the price of steel, the price of cement, and other associated building materials.
Honorable member for Gatanga, as I said, you are concerned. I was aware in your consultation discussions. We are on the National Government Constituency Development Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2021.
Number 34.
And on the project, on the objective of the bill is proposal to introduce a separate account.
Oh, sorry, Madam Speaker.
Yes,
then I got
know
it.
we have so many.
We have so many.
bills
This is what I was interested in.
Yes.
And I think I was contributing to the wrong bill. And I apologize for.
It is still the same bill, but on the objectives of the bill.
Of the objectives.
Yeah.
Not the bill which I have. Bill number 34.
We are on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4.
Then I have the wrong bill. I'm making contribution to.
Yes.
I have picked the wrong bill.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, though you made good contribution about NGCDF.
Thank you.
As an umbrella.
Yeah, but anyway, Madam Speaker, even with that, I just wanted to say that as members, we are facing a very huge challenge, especially this year, and especially this month when prices have really increased. I don't know what we are going to do. And maybe from the board, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether we are going to suspend some of these projects or what is going to happen. Because the way those projects are formatted, I'm very sure, Honorable Speaker, most of the members are going to
Your
face
point is made.
Challenges. And thank you for giving me that minute.
Your point is made. Your point is, but I'm sure you still we want to look at the bill, that is the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2021. Having the substantive speaker taken us through the objectives, we really agree. All of us support the work that has been made and contributions of the NGCDF to our constituencies. So, members, with that, now having no another member interested to speak to the bill, I call upon the mover to reply. Communicated officially that we have the Honorable Oyula, member for Butula, to reply on behalf of the chairperson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was asked by the chair to reply on his behalf. Madam Speaker, I want to start by thanking all the members who have contributed to this bill, and I'm grateful they have all supported the bill, which is very important for the honorable members in the constituencies. This bill, as you have seen, comes up with the operational accounts which will assist in the management of funds at the constituency level. Madam Speaker, I therefore beg to reply. Thank you.
Very well. With that, members, having the bill moved, debated, and replied procedurally on members from my seat, I order that the National Government Constituency Development Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2021, putting of the question be deferred. Next order.
Order number 11, the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, second reading.
For second reading on the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, the Leader of Majority to move.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I had discussed with the substantive speaker on this. The committee, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, has just finished their meeting on this matter, and they are agreeing on the format of the report, which can be brought into the House on Tuesday. And we did agree that in the interest of members having the benefit of both, that we move this next week. So I would ask that it be stood down for now.
Very well. With that, from the Leader of Majority, and also being aware of how far the committee has gone, and the Leader of Majority being on record on the same, members, I do order that the Elections Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2022, for second reading be deferred. Next order.
Order number 12, the Public Finance Management Amendment number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2020, second reading.
The Public Finance Management Amendment number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2020, for second reading. I call upon the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning to move. Officially, of course, you're not the Chairperson, but he has to communicate to us that the member for Kitui Rulo, Honorable Mboni Mwalika, is moving.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, public audit is an integral part of public finance management in Kenya. The Public Finance Management Act 2012 provides a framework for effective management of public finances by the national and county governments.
The Honorable Member for Kitui Rural.
Yes.
The Honorable Mboni Mwalika, for record and as a matter of process, you need to move as that the public.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to move the second reading of the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2020. Honorable Speaker.
Number
39 of 2020.
Very well.
Honorable Speaker, public audit is an integral part of public finance management in Kenya. The Public Finance Management Act 2012 provides a framework for effective management of public finances by the national government and the county government, and spelled out the oversight responsibilities of Parliament and county assemblies. The Office of Auditor General is a critical office in ensuring that Parliament carries out effective oversight over public resources. To ensure that the Office of Auditor General effectively plays its role, there is need to give the office sufficient time to carry out audits and prepare quality audit reports. The main objective of the Public Finance Management Bill, National Assembly number 39 of 2020, is to amend the Public Finance Management Act 2012 in order to reduce the time for submission of financial statement to the Auditor General by 5 entities from 3 months after the end of financial year to 1 month. The Auditor General is required to carry out the mandate of audit of public sector accounts within 6 months after the end of financial year, pursuant to Article 229 of 4 of the Constitution. However, the Public Finance Management Act 2012 requires accounting officers of public funds to submit their financial statement to the Auditor General within 3 months and their consolidated financial statement within 4 months after the end of financial year. This reduces the time the Auditor General has to audit the accounts to 3 months, making it difficult for the Auditor General to meet the constitutional timelines and affects the scope and quality of audited reports. The bill limits the above problem by ensuring that the Office of the Auditor General has adequate time to carry out required audits and prepare required reports for submission to Parliament and county assemblies. Honorable Speaker, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 39 of 2020, went through the first reading on 25th March 2021 and was thereafter committed to the Department of Finance and National Planning pursuant to Standing Order 127. The bill has 15 clauses and proposes the following amendments. Clauses 2, 3, 4B, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15 of the bill propose to reduce the time required to submit annual financial reports by the accounting officers of national and county funds from within 3 months to within 1 month. The clauses amend section 23(1), 24(10)B, 68(2)K, 81(4), 82(3), 82(4), 84(3), 115(1), 116(7)B, 149(2)K, 164(4), 165(3), and 167(3). Clauses 5 and 12 of the bill propose to reduce the time required to submit consolidated annual financial statement by the national and county treasuries pursuant to section 84, 163(4) from within 4 months to within 2 months. Clause 4B of the bill amends section 864 of the Act to include the Auditor General in the list of those to whom the National Assembly should submit the report in respect of a report submitted to the Controller of Budget on the implementation of the budget by the national government. Clause 4C of the bill proposed to reduce sanctions from non-compliance by accounting officers within regard to implementation of recommendation made by the Committee of the National Assembly in respect of reports submitted by Controller of Budget under Article 228(6). Honourable Speaker, placement of antipas in the print media was done following placement of antipas in the print media on 20th April 2021. Requested for comments on the bill from members of the public and relevant stakeholders pursuant to Article 118(1)(b) of the Constitution and Standing Order 127(3), the committee received 11 written memoranda. The committee further discussed the bill with stakeholders on Thursday, 15th July 2021 at Emara Ol Selen Hotel in Nairobi. Just to mention them and appreciate their contribution in the improvement of the bill, the stakeholders included Institute of Certified Public Accountants, ISPAC, Kenya Post Authority, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Public Service Accounting and Standard Board, National Government Consolidated Development Fund Board, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Heads of Accounting and Finance Unit in the Public Sector, Kenya Rural Roads Authority, Mr. Wasonga Treaty, Office of the Auditor General, and lastly, National Treasury and Planning. Honourable Speaker, most stakeholders were opposed to the amendment, noting that it will be difficult to submit the report within the new timelines for various reasons, including late release of funds to public entities by National Treasury. Some public entities are not connected to Integrated Financial Management Information System, that is IFMIS. Some still use manual system, hence require time to feed information to the system. Some public entities have offices spread all over the country, hence it takes time to collect data from the offices and prepare the reports. Most finance and account units in public entities are understaffed, among other reasons. The stakeholders proposed that the time should be revised from 1 to 2 months to enable accounting officers to prepare the reports and take them for quality review by National Treasury before submitting them to the Office of Auditor General. Further, they proposed that the accrual accounting system should be implemented. Additionally, the Office of Auditor General should be devolved and adequately staffed to effectively discharge its mandate. Details of the stakeholders' submissions were contained in Part 3 of the report. All the stakeholders' comments were put in consideration while preparing the proposed committee's amendment, and some of the proposals were adopted, forming part of the proposed committee amendment. Honourable Speaker, while considering the bill, the committee noted that the issues raised by stakeholders were varied, and therefore reviewed the timeline for submission of the financial statement to the Auditor General from 1 month to 2 months. The committee observed that there is need to put measures in place to ensure that Office of Auditor General submit audit reports to Parliament and county assemblies within the constitutional timelines, as this will make it possible for Parliament and county assemblies to have early information on whether the funds allocated and appropriate have been used or managed in compliance with the laws and regulations they have legislated for the benefit of the people that they represent, and enable legislators to make informed budget decisions. Honourable Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to express my special thanks to members of Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the staff of the committee for their significant role towards security of the bill and production of the report. The committee is grateful to the offices of Speaker and Clerk of the National Assembly for the logistical and technical support according to it during its sittings. The committee further wishes to thank all the stakeholders who participated in the consideration of the bill. I will be calling upon the House to support committee's amendment to the bill during the committee stage. Honourable Speaker, thank you, and I beg to move and request Honourable Kimunya, Majority Leader, to second. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The call upon the Honourable Amos Kimunya, the Leader of Majority, and the Member for Kipipiri to second.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to second this bill, which thank the committee for the work they've done in trying to ensure that we speed up the processing of financial records and submission of the same to the Auditor General so that we can enhance the accountability. Currently, Honourable Speaker, and I think the mover did mention that, the accounting entities or all the various recipients of public funds are allowed up to 3 months from the end of the financial year to submit the report to the Auditor General, who then audits and then eventually come to the House. And what the committee has been looking at is a very radical proposal to move 3 months to 1 month. In the course of the public participation, it also became clear that that 1 month may be a bit ambitious, and hence there will be need to actually move the timing to somewhere in between the 1 month proposed by the bill and the 3 months already contained within the various legislation touching on the various bodies. And the committee has agreed, and I'm sure that will be coming as one of the amendments, to bring it to 2 months, which is a reasonable time, at least to close the accounts. And now in the age of electronic processing of records, it's not like the old days when people needed to collect all the information from, manually and start looking for reconciliations, start looking for bank statements so that you can do the bank reconciliation, and the bank statement will be sent, will not be ready until like 2 weeks until after year end. Then by the time you finished, a month or 2 months over. These days, you get everything online. So even on the last day of the financial year, it's actually possible to prepare the records within a month, within the 1 month. But since we also know that there are several things that need to be attached, there are people who need to surrender their impress, there are debtors who need to be chased, and all that. It's only fair we give 2 months, but certainly 3 months is 2 months is too much. So I'm in total agreement with the position that's been taken by the committee in amending their own bill from the 1 month to the 2 months, and I support that position. And hence, I'm quite confident in seconding. So BISCA is a very straightforward bill. It apart from the issue of just reducing the period from to the 3 months to the 1 month, and now eventually when we take in committee of the whole and change it now from the 1 month to the 2 month, it will basically that's what the import of the whole of this bill is, and I support it, and I believe it's a good thing. It will speed up by 1 month the pace at which the records move from the agencies to the Auditor General and eventually to this House, so that we can have our PIC and the Special Funds Committee, give them, they have an extra month to look at all these things, and we ensure accountability to the Kenyan people. Eventually, we might have to go to the 1 month when things get neater, and we test, how the 2 month is working. If we get more compliance, obviously, the fact that MDAs and the agencies have 2 months does not mean they should wait for the 60 days. Those who are ready should be able to present their accounts even within 5 days. And I'm sure what we might want to do, and I urge the Committee on Finance and the PAC and the PIC to look into are there incentives that can be inbuilt within the financial regulations for people who are quick to account for their money. Some could well be administrative, that their budgets will be approved much faster. And I believe I used to do that when I was in the Treasury. For those who are quick to implement, who achieve their budget, when they come for negotiation, you listen to them faster. For those who are lazy and who give you a headache, they come to at the tail end of the queue. And these incentives and carrots and sticks could be used to actually help that, even though we are allowing a 2 month period, that people can account for their money, for the money that we received by sending the records as early as possible, but obviously not later than the 2 months. So the 2 months becomes the outer period rather than the norm. Honorable Speaker, we don't need to belabor the point. It's a very straightforward matter. I've seen the report. It captures everything. There's been substantive public consultation and participation, including by some of the agencies themselves, notably KERA, the heads of accounting and finance units within the public sector. Commission on Human Rights has also been there. The NCDF was also there as a major stakeholder in this matter. And I do note that we were also debating on something that will enhance accountability in the NCDF much earlier on through the opening of different accounts. Our Public Sector Accounting and Standards Board has also been there. Again, it's a body that's looking at enhancing the accountability within the public sector. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also did appear. I'm very happy. The Kenya Ports Authority, we had the Institute of Accountants, again, who have been mandated to look at the whole issue of accountability and accounting in the public interest, and they also did appear and gave their views. So, and Auditor General and National Treasury. So again, everything has been agreed, and I'm happy that, and I would urge the House that we pass the bill as it is, on the understanding that the actual 1 month proposed in the bill, there's actually a proposal in the committee report to amend the 1 month to 2 months. And on that basis, I beg to second.
You beg to second. Members, I now propose the question that the Public Finance Management Amendment number 3 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2020 be now read a second time. The Honorable Member for Funyula, you want to speak to this? You're on the request list.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. I would have taken no interest in this matter if I was not sitting in Public Accounts Committee. It would have been of no interest at all to me Honorable Speaker, it would also have been no interest to me if I had not at one time managed an organization where the board wanted the audited accounts within a certain period of time, where it was necessary to file returns with the KRA within a given period of time. Because of that rich exposure and experience, it is right for me to put in a word or two. But let me admit from the onset, I'm not an accountant, but I'm a consumer of accounting services and products. Honorable Speaker, at the end of any financial year, be it an MDA, be it an organization, it is right and necessary to prepare audited accounts. But from my limited knowledge, Honorable Speaker, at any given time, be it monthly or quarterly, any organization must prepare management accounts, which are necessary to compare budget versus reality, which is necessary to compare revenue, budgeted revenue, and actually received revenue or accumulated or realized revenue, where it is necessary to compare expenditure, budgeted expenditure versus actual expenditure. Ordinarily, from my understanding, and I know that senior accountants here of repute can also correct me, those management accounts, Honorable Speaker, are cumulative, so that after 6 months, you literally have the account for 6 months. You have paid your taxes. There used to be advanced taxes to be paid. I don't know if it's still the case. So at the end of, literally, Honorable Speaker, at the close of the financial year, you have accumulated management accounts which can easily become the financial accounts for that particular year. So therefore, I have never understood up to date, Honorable Speaker, why an accountant or a financial officer would want a whopping 6 months to prepare annual accounts. I have never understood, but being a professional I am, I respect professionals of whichever shade, and they have to reluctantly take it. I know, Honorable Speaker, the PFM Act for MDS, the period allocated is 3 months, and 4 months for the comprehensive accounts. Honorable Speaker, we put the Office of the Auditor General in a very precarious position because, first of all, the reports come. When you read the reports of the Auditor General, it's just a litany of lamentation why the MDS never provided documents, where the MDS never prepared even the basic things called bank reconciliation. The argument given, we did not have time. And we keep on asking, where were you for a whopping 12 months to have prepared and continuously reconciled these statements, both whichever in IFMIS or any other place? That's why, Honorable Speaker, it is time that the law must put the accounting officers to some leash, force them to comply. And I'm also informed, unlike the olden days where accounts used to be prepared manually, there are systems now that can allow you to prepare and post your whatever it is on daily basis. I'm also informed, and I'm aware through my small practice, that now you have mobile banking or internet banking where you can get your bank statements even on hourly basis or on daily basis. I do not understand why, Honorable Speaker, there should be inordinate delay in preparing the audited accounts. Honorable Speaker, probably at the Committee of the Whole House, we must have very explicit sanctions for those accounting officers who do not comply with the law. Honorable Speaker, they appear before Public Accounts Committee, and since there is very limited room in the law to punish them for failure to provide documents in time, the only thing you can do is to cite or reprimand accounting officers. I wish the committee should also go further and impose very heavy sanctions if they do not exist to enable the public or whoever is responsible to punish heavily the lazy accounting officers. Honorable Speaker, I do believe the period of 2 months is probably, for now, is adequate. As the Leader of Majority have said, we must move it actually eventually once we automate all the departments, once we are able to link all the departments to their headquarters within 1 month, because it is doable, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, it is indeed important that we clean up our books. Some of the reports we get at PIC are so discouraging, so annoying, so embarrassing that an accounting officer cannot keep basic books of account. Honorable Speaker, delayed audits also means there is delay for Public Accounts Committee to process those reports, lay them before the House so that they become the basis for division of revenue bill. It is important that all the MDS, wherever they are, they expedite this process so that we comply with the Constitution that requires to share revenue between the levels of government based on the latest audited accounts. As we are doing now, Honorable Speaker, I think we are still using 2017-2018 audited accounts to share revenue between the parties, various levels of government. So it is important the MDS play their role as much as the Office of the Auditor General also plays their role. Honorable Speaker, we must continuously give the Office of the Auditor General powers and teeth. We must give them resources, we must give them capacity to enable them process these reports and lay them before Parliament in good time so that we comply with the Constitution. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support the bill and the committee's report seeking amendment from 1 month to 2 months. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, the Honorable Undo. I confirm that you are a member of the Public Accounts Committee, as I am the Vice Chairperson of the same committee. So that one I do confirm. We have the member for Nyando, the Honorable Okello Odoyo, who is willing to speak to this. Please, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support this public finance management bill for reasons that are known to many, and there are very good reasons why the committee has advanced this kind of amendments, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is usually very good for business to quickly know its position, whether you are making losses or you are making profits. And declaration of the financial status by organizations help them know how to reposition themselves in business. And when accountants take forever, currently 6 months, and that is a long period of time, it becomes very difficult for a business to determine its actual position financially speaking. And therefore I support this idea of doing it within 2 months, and as the majority leader did allude, that ultimately we shall be looking at 1 month to have all the accounting books put in good shape. So, Honorable Speaker, I do know that the large accounting firms tend to get more businesses. And when they get more businesses, in retrospect, therefore, they come up with inordinate delays to submit financial positions to their clients. And if we are going to employ pressure by reduction of this period to 2 months, Honorable Speaker, even the young professionals in the accounting field who are creating their own foothold into the market with a view to enhancing their own niche in the accounting world will be able to get jobs. Because again, why wait for a big firm that will take forever to give you your financial position? Yet, there is a young guy who is also equally good, but because he has not been known in the market, is just resting. I mean, basically no job. So I think this in a way would help young accountants to also have a stake within this competitive market, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am a member of the Special Accounts Committee, and we look at various financial status of MDGs. And what is so common is the questions emanating from the Auditor General as regards financial probity. And we get to learn that many a times it is the delay by organizations to submit certain critical documents to the Auditor General. And they take forever just because they know they have a wiggle room where they will have to wait for 6 months. Upon 6 months, they come up with excuses. And this is going to give everybody permissible pressure to present what is necessary within a set period of time. And I think the Public Finance Act has also given a specific period upon which documents should be submitted for audit purposes. But at the end of the day, we have continued to see these inordinate delays that have adverse effects on the financial preparedness of companies and organizations, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I support this. I know there are a few amendments here and there that will be cascaded to committees to look at, but this is a very good starting point that companies will be able to network and create linkages with their branches all the way to the national, so that every document can be scrutinized in good time and reports are given at the right time, Honorable Speaker. I thank you for the opportunity and I support.
Very well, members, with that debate, members, I have no another member willing to contribute to this, and I therefore call upon the mover to reply. The mover for replying, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Speaker, Honorable Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those members who have contributed to the bill. The amendment seems to be very straightforward, and I want to thank everyone who contributed. With those remarks, I beg to reply. Thank you very much.
Very well, you beg to reply. Well, very well. Members, with the debate on the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, that is the third bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2020, I order that the question on the same, that is the putting of the question, be deferred. Next order.
Order number 13, motion. Report on the Irrigation General Regulations 2021.
Could we have the chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation, to move the report on motion, that is order number 13.
Honorable Speaker, I have the pleasure to move the motion on behalf of the Chair of the Committee on Delegated Legislation.
Allow me to confirm also that it has been communicated that you, the Honorable Undo Ojiambo, you will be the one to move the same. Thank you. Carry on.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker.
Yes, I've confirmed. Yes.
Oh, I proceed.
Yes, you can proceed. I've confirmed that you have been given the opportunity officially to move. Thank you.
I feel greatly honored, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Irrigation General Regulations 2021, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, February 23rd, the year of our Lord 2022, and pursuant to the provision of Section 34(2) of the Irrigation Act 2019, approves the Irrigation General Regulations 2021, published as legal notice number 19 of 2021. Honorable Speaker, the Irrigation General Regulations, legal notice 199 of 2021, were made by the Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation pursuant to Section 34(1) of the Irrigations Act 2019 and were published in the Gazette Vide Legal Notice number 19 of 2021. The regulations were submitted to the Clerk of the National Assembly on 19th October 2021 and laid in the House on 10th November 2021, being within the statutory timelines contemplated under Section 11(1) of the Statutory Instruments Act of 2013 and subsequently referred to the Committee on the Legal Legislation for consideration. The primary objective of the regulation was to facilitate better carrying out of the purposes and provision of the Irrigation Act 2019, which was enacted in August 2019. The purpose of the regulations is to ensure, 1, operationalization of the Irrigation Act 2019 in the spirit of the Irrigation Policy 2019, sustainable development, management, financing, provision of support services, and effective regulation of the entire irrigation sector in Kenya, and 3rd, compliance with the Constitution and the laws of Kenya, international laws, treaties, and agreements, and other ratified instruments. Pursuant to Section 16 of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013, the committee held a pre-publication scrutiny meeting with the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation on the regulation 17 December 2020. Subsequently, the meeting at its scrutiny of the published regulations established that the ministry had taken into account the concerns made by the committee during publication's engagement and had met the requirements of the Constitution and other relevant laws in the development of regulations. Honorable Speaker, the committee held further consultation with the ministry on the regulations in a meeting held on 17 February 2022, in which the ministry confirmed that the various issues raised at the pre-publication scrutiny had been addressed as follows. Number A, a clear delineation of responsibility between the national and county governments had been provided for under Regulation 6. B, the regulations under 7, 1, 19, 3, 15, 16, 26, 88, 18, 87, and 110 provide an enabling regulatory environment to the irrigation sector. That while the Irrigation Act 2019 is explicit, the licensing of irrigation schemes is the function of the Cabinet Secretary, the Act allows the Cabinet Secretary to delegate this function. Therefore, the licensing of small-scale irrigation schemes will be undertaken at the counties through delegation under the framework of Intergovernmental Relationship Act 2012. And D, administratively, the Cabinet Secretary had developed a guiding framework for the establishment of county irrigation development units, then providing for the licensing of small-scale schemes at the county level. Honorable Speaker, having examined the Irrigation General Regulations 2021, Legal Notice 199 of 2020, the committee made the following observations. Number 1, statutory timelines. The regulations were published in the Gazette on 22nd September 2021, via Legal Notice number 19 of 2021, submitted to the Clerk, National Assembly on 19th October 2021, and laid in the House on 10th November 2021, being within the statutory timeline set out on Section 110, Section 11(1) of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013. Public participation. Articles 10 and 18 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 5, 5A, and Schedule to the Statutory Instrument Act, read together Standing Order 210, requires the regulatory making authority to conduct public participation and sufficient consultation with stakeholders and persons likely to be affected by the regulations. The Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation demonstrated that it conducted sufficient public participation and had engaged various stakeholders on various dates between November 2019 and July 2021. The stakeholders included, among others, representatives of farmers and irrigation water use associations, Council of Governors, county governments, universities, development partners, semi-autonomous government agencies, private irrigation practitioners, regional development agencies, ministries, national irrigation schemes, financial services providers, and the National Assembly and Senate Committee on Delegated Legislation. The Ministry has also conducted a national validation workshop which was held at Kenya School of Monetary Studies on 23rd January 2020 and attended by key stakeholders likely to be affected by the regulations. Honorable Speaker, we also noted, in compliance with Statutory Instrument Act, on the requirements for regulatory impact assessment, the Ministry conducted a regulatory impact assessment and submitted a detailed regulatory impact statement. The purpose of the regulatory impact statement is to enable the Ministry, Parliament, stakeholders, and the community to be informed of the environmental, social, and economic implications of the implementation of the proposed regulations. Honorable Speaker, having examined the Irrigation General Regulations 2021, legal notice number 99 of 2021, against the Constitution, the Interpretation and General Provisions Act Cap 2, Statutory Instrument number 23 of 2013, and the Irrigation Act number 14 of 2019, pursuant to which they are made, the committee recommends that the House approves the Irrigation General Regulations 2021, legal notice number 19 of 2021, in accordance with Section 34 of the Irrigation Act. Honorable Speaker, I request Engineer Ndwati, the MP for Gatanga, the musical MP, to second the report. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.